Welcome to the deep dive. Okay, so let's set aside the big names for a sec. Frieza, Cell, Boo.
Right. The usual suspects.
Exactly. Today, we're diving into Dragon Ball's underrated villains. Those guys from the main series and the movies, too, whose impact, well, kind of gets lost sometimes.
It really does. We're talking about characters who maybe weren't around for long or get overshadowed, but they fundamentally shifted things. They were sparks, unique threats. They offer more than you might think.
Yeah, and we've really dug in for this. We looked at articles talking specifically about these overlooked villains from the series, from the movies, plus deep dives into the Dragon Ball wiki for details on specific characters.
Nappa and Raditz especially, yeah.
Right. So our mission today, shine a light on these forgotten fears, maybe give them some overdue credit, explore their power, their tactics, and their actual influence on the whole saga. Okay, well, let's get into it, starting with, well, the first real nightmare of Z.
Let's talk Raditz. Goku's older brother showing up at the start of Dragon Ball Z. It's easy now, looking back, to kind of downplay him, but his arrival, seismic. Absolutely seismic.
Oh, totally. I mean, Raditz landing wasn't just another villain fight. It blew everything we knew about Goku's power right out of the water.
Right.
Suddenly, Goku, who we thought was the strongest, just gets demolished by this guy, this long-haired dude in weird armor who steps out of a spaceship.
And it wasn't just the power difference, was it? It was the info he brought, the Saiyans, their history, conquering planets. That wasn't just backstory, it changed the whole scale.
Yeah, suddenly it's not just Earth threats, it's galactic. A whole warrior race.
And Scouters. That little piece of tech instantly changed how we and the characters understood power. It became quantifiable.
A number you could read. Scary stuff. And Raditz himself.
Yeah.
He wasn't just strong, he was mean.
Brutal.
Kidnapping Gohan, forcing Goku and Piccolo Kickler to team up.
An alliance nobody saw coming.
And the biggest thing, let's be real, Raditz is why Goku died the first time. That's a pretty big deal on his villain resume, right?
Undeniably, he was the first domino. If you trace it back, no Raditz, no Vegeta and Nappa coming to Earth, maybe no trip to Namek.
The whole Frieza saga changes, or maybe doesn't happen at all.
Exactly. His short time on screen kicked off everything in Z.
And his personality for that short time was really something. Super harsh, arrogant, loved seeing Goku and Gohan suffer.
But he still offered Goku a chance, right? Join us.
Yeah, like come be a proper evil Saiyan brother.
Yeah.
He had that fierce Saiyan pride, totally disgusted by Goku being, soft.
Which kind of leads to his downfall, doesn't it? That arrogance.
And the scouter dependency.
Right. He trusted that number implicitly, saw Goku and Piccolo's readings and just dismissed them. Didn't account for hidden power, strategy, spirit.
That tech he relied on ended up being his fatal mistake. Okay, so from Raditz, the game changer, let's move to his Saiyan comrade. Vegeta's much bigger, much louder partner, Nappa. Nappa. Yeah, he's a different beast entirely. Raditz was maybe more calculating in his cruelty. Nappa was just raw destruction, an enforcer.
Understatement of the century. This guy lands, looks around, and basically asks Vegeta, "Hey boss, can I blow up this city, please?"
And Vegeta's just like, sure, whatever. Just don't tire yourself out.
And then Nappa just casually obliterates a fleet. Jets. It wasn't strategy. It was pure destructive glee.
But what's interesting is he wasn't just a brute, right? There are these weird flashes, like congratulating Tien after the spear tri-beam nearly killed him.
Yeah. It's like this bizarre, warped warrior respect buried under all the demolition lust. He saw them as toys, prey.
Right. But then that moment happens, and then there's his dynamic with Vegeta.
Oh, yeah. He'd be on this rampage, totally losing it, and Vegeta just snaps his fingers, gives him a look.
And suddenly Nappa's all, yes, Prince Vegeta, apologies, Prince Vegeta.
Using polite language, even.
Shows that rigid Saiyan hierarchy. Nappa knew his place, maybe even feared Vegeta a little.
Definitely respected the power difference. And speaking of weird connections, remember his thing with the Cybermen?
Oh, yeah. He knew how to plant them and grow these little green killing machines.
And he actually seemed shocked, maybe even a bit upset, when Vegeta just casually blew one up for failing.
He coached the one fighting Yamcha, got mad when it ended in a draw. It's like they were his pets, almost.
Something like that. Showed a connection to Saiyan tools of war beyond just punching things. He wasn't one note.
Definitely not. Okay, so on Earth, the big entrance, destroying the city with that volcano explosion.
Instantly showing off their power level.
Mocking the Z Fighters' readings, even though Vegeta kind of sensed they were hiding power.
Which they were.
Then planting the Cybermen.
Yeah.
Leading to, well, Yamcha's iconic demise.
Poor Yamcha. And then Nappa just tears through the rest of them, injuring Tien badly, that blazing storm attack. He was just dismantling the team.
Really hammered home how outclassed they were before Goku showed up.
But like Raditz, his own weakness got him. His rage.
When Goku arrived, Nappa just lost it. Couldn't handle being overpowered.
Goku hits him with the Kaioken, breaks him.
And then that last desperate, pathetic attempt to attack Gohan and Krillin when he's down.
Goku stops that easily, leaves him crippled. And then comes maybe the coldest moment in early Z.
Vegeta just looks at him, useless, and boom, executes him.
Yeah. Pure Saiyan pragmatism, no room for weakness. A really brutal end for such a powerhouse.
It's kind of funny thinking about him showing up in video games later, like as a training dummy.
Yeah.
And apparently being sensitive about not going Super Saiyan.
Some games even give him Super Saiyan 3, which is just
wild.
Totally wild. Okay, so we've had the catalyst and the brute force. Now let's talk about the brains behind a whole saga. The mastermind, who often gets overshadowed. Dr. Gero.
Yes, Dr. Gero. Android 20, as he becomes. But the real threat was his intellect, his planning. Cell gets the spotlight, obviously, but Gero, he built the stage for that whole nightmare.
Absolutely. You might just think mad scientist got killed off early, but hang on. This one guy, fueled by this intense hatred for Goku, a decades-long grudge from the Red Ribbon Army days.
Right. He creates Android 16, 17, 18, and the ultimate bioweapon, Cell, single-handedly.
And think about the impact. Future Trunks' timeline, basically destroyed by 17 and 18, our timeline. They pushed everyone, Goku, Vegeta, Gohan, to their absolute limits.
And his creations were scary, powerful. We hear they might have even been a challenge for, like, gods of destruction.
That's a terrifying thought, isn't it? That this human scientist, driven by revenge, could create weapons on that kind of scale. His legacy, his shadow, stretched way beyond his own physical defeat as Android 20.
So he represents... what? The danger of science gone wrong? The poison of holding a grudge for too long?
Both, I think. Unchecked ambition, a vendetta that consumes everything. His intellect was his weapon, and it caused devastation long after he was gone. You have to wonder, did anyone see it coming? Was his obsession just too focused for anyone to notice how dangerous it was getting?
Good question. Maybe they were just focused on the Red Ribbon Army's goals back then. Okay, we've hit some big underrated players from the main story. Let's pivot now to the movies. Because, yeah, Cooler and Broly get a lot of love.
And rightfully so, they're iconic.
But there's a whole bunch of other movie villains who brought something cool or menacing to the table and kind of get forgotten. Where should we start? Maybe right at the beginning.
Sounds good. How about King Garoom's first Dragon Ball movie, Curse of the Blood Rubies?
Yeah. The guy driven by hunger, not really evil, just unbelievably greedy and hungry.
Exactly. He gets those blood rubies, turns into this giant monster.
Kind of like a great ape, but fueled by infinite appetite, just rampaging, eating everything.
And he was tough for that era. Took a Kamehameha, didn't even flinch.
What's unique is he's not pure evil, just consumed. And he actually survives, right? Gets wished back to human.
Yep.
Yeah.
One of the very few movie villains who gets a non-lethal ending. Pretty unusual for Dragon Ball.
Super unusual.
Yeah.
Okay, next. Maybe someone a bit more traditionally villainous.
Well, there's Lucifer from Sleeping Princess and Devil's Castle. Now, he had grand evil plans.
Right, an ancient demon trying to, what was it, destroy the sun.
Pretty much. Use the Sleeping Princess jewel to power his Devil Castle cannon, blast the sun, and plunge the world into eternal darkness so demons could rule.
Okay, that's ambitious. Classic villain stuff. Had his own key attacks, too, like that continuous blood bomber.
He did. Ultimately, Goku turned his own cannon against him. Classic Goku ingenuity. It shows how wild the movie threats could get, even early on.
Definitely. Okay, jumping way forward. How about Lord Yao from the GT special, A Hero's Legacy?
Ah, Lord Yao. Terrorizing Mount Paozu a century after GT. His thing was shape-shifting, wasn't it?
Yeah, turning his body parts into weapons, cannons, blades, maces, even tree roots to grab people. Like a walking Swiss Army knife of death.
The potential for that kind of ability is huge. Imagine a villain who could just constantly adapt their physical form into any weapon.
So much potential. Shame he got taken out relatively quick by Goku Jr. Still, cool concept.
Okay, back to Z movies. How about one of Turles' crew? Cacao, from Tree of Might.
Oh yeah, the cyborg. He had a pretty cool design and backstory, didn't he?
He did. A cyborg bounty hunter from a war-torn planet, Ikonda. He wanted the Tree of Might's fruit to boost his cybernetics.
His armor gave him rockets, energy resistance. Seemed like he couldn't be more than just a henchman.
Agreed. Definitely felt underrated among Turles' group. Had potential, but, well, Kaioken Goku happened.
As it often does. All right, moving from cyborgs to, well, something really weird and kind of creepy. Metamacha from the Lord Slug movie.
Ugh, Metamacha. Yeah, that frog-like alien guy. Definitely memorable for being unsettling.
He seemed to really enjoy beating up on Gohan.
Violently sadistic, yeah. And his abilities were nasty, those little clones he could make.
The ones that drained your energy? Yeah, creep.
And he could bite you to steal energy directly like a vampire. Just a genuinely unpleasant and kind of scary foe.
Definitely memorable and makes your skin crawl away.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, how about someone with a bit more finesse? Salsa, Cooler's right-hand man.
Salsa, leader of Cooler's armored squadron. Some say maybe even stronger than Captain Ginyu.
Really? Wow. And he was smart too, right? Fluent in thousands of languages.
Extremely intelligent, yeah. And he had that cool energy blade, the Salsa blade. Very effective.
He definitely seemed more competent than the other two in the squadron.
Yeah.
And he actually outlived Cooler for a bit.
Tried one last attack before Piccolo took him out. That's rare for a henchman, that kind of persistence.
True. Okay, next up, Zangya from BoJack Unbound. She felt like she deserved more screen time.
Totally agree. A member of BoJack's crew from the Hera clan. She had that psycho threat attack.
Yeah, that could restrain pretty much anyone. Seemed really powerful, maybe psychic.
Could be. And her end was just brutal. Betrayed and killed by BoJack himself just to mess with Gohan.
Awful. It actually made you feel for her, weirdly. Like maybe she could have switched sides if things went differently, added a layer to her.
It really did. Okay, how about a real classic sci-fi trope? Dr. Wheelo from The World's Strongest.
The brain in a jar. Or a brain in a giant robot body.
Exactly. Looking for the perfect body Goku's, naturally to transfer his brain into. Classic mad science.
Unique design, satisfyingly simple motivation. And that robot body, despite being huge, was surprisingly fast and had some world-ending attacks.
He gets overlooked, maybe because it's an early Z movie. But it's interesting, he popped up again with a redesign in Super Dragon Ball Heroes recently. Maybe there's still interest there.
Could be. Now, someone technically from an OVA, but who made a big splash, Hachiak.
Plan to eradicate the Saiyans. Hachiak, the Tuffle machine built purely for revenge, fueled by hate, and supposedly stronger than Broly.
That's the claim. He was immense. Could make ghost clones of old villains transform into giant and super forms.
Definitely a huge threat. He's gotten more popular through games like Raging Blast 2 and Heroes, but maybe still not super well known to everyone.
I mean, he took on Goku, Gohan, Vegeta, Trunks, and Piccolo all at once. That's serious power.
No kidding. Okay, one more. And this one's easy to forget because his other form is so iconic. Janemba's first form.
From Fusion Reborn. Yeah, everyone remembers Super Janemba, the guy Gogeta fought.
Yeah.
But before that...
he was that giant, kind of goofy-looking, big yellow, blobby demon thing.
That's the one, standard Janemba. Looks less threatening, but he was still packing serious heat. Reality warping powers, strong ki attacks.
He held his own against Super Saiyan 3, Goku, and Piccon. That's no small feat.
Right. And his fighting style was so weird and unpredictable. Totally different from Super Janemba. Almost playful, but deadly.
Like a totally different character, almost. It'd be interesting if they ever explored that initial form's bizarre powers more.
Definitely. Wow, okay, that's quite a list. From Raditz kicking things off to the weirdness of first form Janemba, we've covered a lot of ground on these underrated villains.
And it really shows, doesn't it? These characters, even if they aren't Frieza or Cell, played vital roles. They raised the stakes, forced the heroes to grow, and really shaped the whole Dragon Year story.
Absolutely. So here's something for you listening. Which Dragon Ball villain do you think is the most underrated? Is there someone we missed, another forgotten so you think deserves more recognition? Let us know. We'd love to hear your picks.
Yeah, definitely. And maybe one last thought to chew on. In this huge Dragon Ball universe packed with incredible power, sometimes the biggest impact, the real significance, comes from characters you might have overlooked. It's worth maybe going back and seeing just how important these lesser villains really were to the whole.